Sup peoples, and welcome back to another video. It has been so long since I said that. Let's talk about why a little bit and what this video is gonna be. Already talked about this over on my Patreon a little bit ago, links to which will be in the description because I have been posting regularly over there. I went through, I'm not even 25 yet, so I can't say a quarter life crisis, but it was kind of felt like one. Like I just hit this point where reality kind of sunk in, and I was sitting there working and I was like, I think this is the rest of my life. And that freaked me out a bit. Okay, it freaked me out a lot because I had always had in the back of my mind, well, like, I won't be doing this forever because I'll be a successful writer, I'll be an author. But I hadn't written in like 6 or 7 months because I'm a perfectionist primarily when it comes to writing, and I had gotten so in my own head over Project Eros, which, if you're new here or you just haven't been watching those vlogs, is my contemporary romance novel. And I've been working on it for, I think this is year 2, and instead of making good progress, I just kept rewriting the beginning over and over and over, which is what I've historically done with my projects. It's kind of my thing. It had gotten to a point where I couldn't even tell the difference between the versions sometimes. And I was just, I was so caught up in my own head that I couldn't tell if it was good or bad anymore. And it was driving me up the wall. Like every time I started trying to write, I would like freak out and stress out. So I just stopped. I let myself finally stop. After months of trying to continue, I just let myself stop, and I was so burned out. And then I put it all away and I was at peace. I missed writing and storytelling, but no part of me wanted to go back to that grind. And so I just found myself putting off restarting over and over and over again until months had gone by and I hadn't written anything. Not even like fan fictions, which I was so productive with fan fiction last year. Some of you guys may know. Sorry, cricket. I started to have this like moment sink in where it's like, actually, I don't know if I would want writing to be my full-time job. When I stopped enjoying writing Project Eros was when I felt the pressure to turn it into a publishable novel, and I started nitpicking everything about it. When I started being like, this has to be worth it. This has to be good enough if I'm gonna publish this. Those thoughts made me overthink everything, and I stopped enjoying writing, and it just started to be like a chore. That moment suddenly of being like, oh, maybe I don't want to be a professional author. I still enjoy writing, don't worry. Maybe I don't want to be a professional author. Maybe I just want writing to be my hobby, and maybe I publish a book every 10 years. You know, like, I will always write. It is ingrained in me, and I want to publish the things that I write, but I don't think I could keep up with the demand of publishing a novel every year or every few years. Like, I don't think I could be an Emily Henry, and I think I would lose my love for writing if I was. And that was a scary thought because that was my whole plan. That was the whole thing I was gonna do. I kind of like went down this spiral because at the same exact time that was happening, my work got a lot busier. My job is weird in the sense that it's not a normal 9 to 5 or 9 to whatever time. It's not part-time, it's not full-time. It's however long it takes me to get my work done that day. And so for the longest time, I was acting as a virtual assistant. But then as she started taking on more clients because I was getting better at my job, more high maintenance clients that needed more of her attention, I started getting more and more work. And at first the increase was really gradual. Like I could handle that. That was all fine. And I could also do other things. But then I don't know what changed, but it skyrocketed. Like there was no heads up. It's so sporadic. Like for example, we had Monday off because it was a holiday. For us on a day off, we still work. There's only the 2 of us in the office. So if we don't work, the next day will just be insane. So we worked on our day off, but only like for a few hours. And then on Tuesday, I only had like 2.5 hours worth of work, which it hadn't been that late in so long, and it was so cool. And then yesterday, I worked for 7 hours, which isn't even a full 8-hour shift. It was fine, you know? But like, there was no discernible difference. There was no extra task I had to do, nothing. I cannot tell you why one day was 2 hours and one day was 7 hours. And so it's just very hard to schedule anything. Like the work increase timed up with me freaking out that I didn't want to be like a full-time author maybe. And so together, it just felt panic-inducing, which is such white people problems. I know that. I'm sitting here saying that I worked for 7 hours yesterday and it made me like freak out, which feels embarrassing, but I gotta be honest, you know, like I'm pretty okay with it now, you know, like I've learned to deal with it. it was just sudden, and the bubble burst, you know, and I started feeling more like an adult. I started to think about things like, oh, well, I'm putting enough money in savings, and those weren't things that I really had to have on my radar. I kind of live a cushy life. So the bubble of adulthood burst a little bit late. However, I have kind of found a sense of direction again, because I do really badly if I don't have goals, but I have goals again. I have goals. So I'm going to get back to writing, and this channel is going to continue being largely about writing because I love writing, and I find that these videos help hold me accountable, and I've built a following based around writing and a shared love of writing and storytelling, and at the end of the day, that's mainly my jam. But I also want to catalog the fact that I'm trying to get a job in content creation in general. You know, I love making content. One of my favorite things is content calendars, scheduling, branding, trend tracking, like all of that. So I feel like the fact that I enjoy making a content calendar and designing content pillars and brand strategy might help me. This video is going to be more than just me talking. Stuff will happen, but I first wanted to sit down and kind of explain where I'm at and what that means for the channel, because I want to continue talking about writing, but also talk about this other stuff because I'm going to be doing it in conjunction to writing. I still want to become an author, but I think that I want to become an author for me and not for the money. Because also, you probably don't make that much money as an author. So I've decided, this is finally the bit that you're looking forward to, I've decided that to beat writer's block, I'm going to give myself an attainable goal. It's going to be a comic. It's going to be like angsty fantasy, because that's my comfort zone. Okay, for so long, every time I'd be excited about something or do a deep dive into a topic or like get excited about a new show which sparked a book idea in my mind, I'd have to put it to the side because I was working on Project Arrow. So now I'm like, no, right now I'm excited about this, right now I'm going to do it. So I have kind of the beginnings of an idea forming in my brain, because also I started this video a while ago with the intentions of writing a vampire romance. Then I deleted it because I gave up on the idea because I was like, I don't want to start another novel. Also, I don't think I could write a whole vampire romance novel. Like, I don't know if I could take myself seriously, but now I have like those ideas and I'm gonna stick them into this stew pot, and so it's kind of turning into like a murder mystery, gothic punk, underworld, demons, vampires, investigation story. So I'm excited about this thing right now, and I've decided that I'm going to give myself 36 comic issues, which sounds like a lot, but it's kind of a lot, to tell this story. I'm gonna start trying to write that. Hello. So it is the following day. No, wait, it's 2 days later. Is it? Whatever. It's the weekend. And that means I have some free time. And I'm going to use that free time today to plan the book. And basically, I'm just going to take everything that I'm into right now and smush it into one story. It's been so long since I actually wrote something and enjoyed working on it. So I'm actually pretty excited about the idea of getting to do this and just having a project that is completely based off of me giving 100% into just creative expression and whatever that may look like in the moment, because it's kind of always changing, and a lot of times I feel like I have to cut down on the stuff that I'm excited about to make it like flow better or whatever. So the idea of just giving myself a story where I can focus fully on whatever I want with no limits just to get me back into writing is really exciting. Especially when you add in the fact that it'll be a comic book and that visual mediums like that tend to make me even more excited, because I love letting silence do the talking and imagery do the talking. Okay, it's time. So I'm going to have 36 issues. So I will make in this Google Doc a tab for each of those. Okay, and then I'm going to label them all. Issue 1. I was actually planning to make 6 main characters, and then I realized that I was going to have 6 volumes, so that perfectly lines up. Each volume can maybe deep dive into one character a little bit more. My friend is coming over in about an hour and 20 minutes. It'll probably actually be 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, but because she tends to be a little bit late, but I love her anyway, and that should give me enough time to do this. For the plotting, I need to keep it fairly simple. I always want to overcomplicate this stuff, but if I'm trying to keep this just 36 issues, I can't let myself do that. And what's cool about comics
is I find the pacing of them much simpler. With writing a novel, the main thing that I struggle with is pacing. Oh, it feels so good to be working on a project again, I can't even tell you. But with comics, for some reason, the pacing makes much more sense to me. So I don't need to plot them as hardcore as I need to plot, say, a novel. With a novel, I write out every single scene that's going to be happening in each chapter, all of it. Like, I write out everything. And I think that's part of why it's hard for me to keep working on them, because once I know literally everything that's going to happen, then it just becomes a chore of writing it all down, and I'm never fully happy with it. It was always better in my head. But with a comic, I kind of let myself discover it as I go, and it's just a much more, I don't know, like, exciting process for me. Obviously, I know how it begins and how it ends, and I know the like main plot beats that I want to happen, but I feel this ability to give myself like more creative freedom because the pacing comes a bit more naturally to me. This project, I want to be a little bit more adult and darker than some of my other stuff, to be dealing more with like messy interpersonal relationships, which is something that I really enjoy writing, and also to be dealing with kind of like moral quandaries and just like I'm going into the underbelly of the world a bit with this, but I also still want it to be a fantastical world because I don't love world building in normal modern settings. I find it like a little bit harder, which I think is also part of why Project Eros was tiring for me, because it was everything I'm not very good at, and I was trying really hard because the story means so much to me, and I do want to get back to it, but I needed some space away from it. So this is just gonna be like a fun project for me. I say as I'd say that I'm going to be dealing with dark adult issues. But that stuff seems easier for me to wrap my head around for some reason. I want to make a gothic, cyberpunk-inspired world, because cyberpunk is my favorite, but I wanted it to be like supernatural and fantasy as well. Like, I know that I want to do vampires and demons and all of that stuff. So I was like, what if I do cyberpunk, but instead of like crazy towers, it's like a cyberpunk cathedrals. Instead of cyborgs, it's vampires, and like that kind of thing. Like, combine those two things that have been interesting me recently. And then when it comes to characters, I know that there's going to be more than 6, obviously, but with this few issues, I don't have time to really focus on a ton of characters. So I'm going to focus on a main 6. And I've already got some of them forming in the back of my mind. So far, let me just give you the pitch for this story, okay? It's kind of inspired by like the Japanese red light district host clubs, which I've been learning about recently, which is a really interesting concept to me, like the idea of like selling love. And I know that one of the characters is going to be the younger sister of our main character, and that she's going to go missing, and that she'll have been involved, kind of sketchy situation revolving around all of those things and set in that kind of a setting, and that he's going to go looking for her, and it's going to lead him into some like supernatural elements of what's going on down there and what's actually happening, and like, you know, who's in charge. I don't know too much else. I know that I want there to be a romance. It's not a romance, it's more like I want to use the romance to illustrate the assumptions. Now I need to name them. I kind of want to name the sister Allison. I just saw that name and it's, you know, just like, ah, yeah, that's her. I like the idea of a last name that starts with B. Here's a tip. If you need last names, use boys' first names. A lot of especially older boys' first names that aren't really in use anymore, things like Boyd, they sound like great last names. So that's a tip for you. Oh, I should pick the brother's first name first to make sure that they both sound good with last name. That's one of the hard parts about siblings. They don't always sound good with the same last name. So I have to be thoughtful about that. I'm thinking an E name. I'm leaning towards Evan, Edwin, Eli, Alicia, Elliot, Ellis, Enoch. See what I mean about last names? Eric, Ethan. There was a kid in my kindergarten class named Ethan, and he has a very similar appearance to the person that I'm picturing, totally unintentionally. I don't know, something about the shaggy brown hair that I'm picturing this guy have, thing reminds me of that kid. Allison and Ethan Boyd? Allison and Ethan... Also, I have never used the name Ethan for any of my characters, and I'm running out of names that I can say that about. Allison and Ethan Bailey. Allison and Ethan Bartley. Allison and Ethan Booth? No. Bowen? No. Allison Bradley and Ethan Bradley. Allison and Ethan Bradley. What does the name Ethan mean? firmness and strength. He wishes. I kind of just want them to be normal people, but then the world has fantastical and sci-fi elements. So I'm gonna go with Bradley. Okay, Allison and Ethan, Bradley. Oh, my family is back, so I gotta let them in. Well, as you can see, my room is a mess. You're actually not seeing the messiest bits of it right now. There's so much that I need to clean and go through. The place just needs a lot of TLC that it hasn't been getting. And there's even more stuff just straight up like lying all over the floor. Like look at this. There is so much clutter. Just everywhere. And there's all this clothes I need to fold and clothes my sister needs to fold and wigs. This room just needs so much help. And I'm hopeful that, where is it? This bookshelf, which when I bought this bookshelf, I was so proud of myself because it was the first piece of furniture I had ever bought for myself. And that felt very grown up. That felt like adult things were happening. And then I built it and I felt like that was very cool. Like I bought it, it came in the mail and I built it myself. And that was like an exciting feeling because I was doing grown up things. And of course, you've noticed by now, I built it wrong. That's the back. I put the back backwards. So it looks ugly. I have to buy wallpaper to put on the inside to make it look okay. But that feels kind of fitting. You know, the first thing that I did in my step towards trying to become more of a self-sufficient adult and actually take ownership of the space that I have been living in for the past 14 years, but never really made my own. It makes sense that I built it wrong, and we're gonna problem solve, and that's what adults do. You know, we problem solve. Continuing with the theme of today's video, I was just trying to put this phone in the tripod so I could go and continue cleaning, and that's my third broken tripod. I don't know what to say about that, really. Just gonna hope it doesn't drop my phone. hilarious to me that I spent years collecting this many Dungeons & Dragons books, and now I play D&D online, and all of my materials are virtual, and I've never needed one of these books, ever. No, it doesn't. It would fit perfectly if not for detailing on the side. Okay, I'm strong. I'm capable. I totally didn't build this wrong. Oh, it actually could have been taller. But I guess that means that you can still see this. So. Okay, so as you may be able to tell, I was not able to finish setting up my bedroom last night, so there's a lot of stuff stacked on the floor over here. Work had been busier for a while, which was why I was posting a lot less, but we actually lost a few clients, which isn't good, but it does mean I have less to do. So I was able to clear out my whole inbox in like 2 hours this morning, and now I'm going to try and finish this. I also have to fold all that laundry. So I'm gonna try and do that as well. I'm probably gonna queue up some like Vampires SMP while I clean, so I won't film that because I need my phone for that. I've been obsessed with that. It is so good. So I will see you soon once I've watched Minecraft Vampires plot murder. Okay, so I think I've finished as much as I can for now. This can stay like this. I feel like that's fine. There is this stack of books here, which I do not have shelf space for, and I'm gonna have to get something to put those on. Ideally, I would like to get maybe another bookshelf to go here and replace this little tabley thing, and then I can put all of these books more organized because I'm gonna keep getting books and I need places to put them. Then I put all of the D&D books here. That's just gonna sit there for now. It's like, it's a little bit messy, but it's fine, you know?
Lonesome dripping, 'cause we're spending the night. And it feels alright, but it's over now. Time keeps slipping, with your skin next to mine. And your lips I can fight, but it's over now. You brought out the best in me. We had everything we needed. You put me aside and turn out the lights for no reason. Was it a make-believe? I don't know you anymore.
Hello, welcome back. So I wanted to give a little bit of an update because I mentioned that I was going to be talking about my writing projects, and I gave you kind of debrief on what everything was. But then the last week, sat down, and in between different work things, I fleshed out all the characters, and then I sat down to figure out everything, you know, do what I had done with Project Eros, and I stopped myself and I deleted the outline that I had started, and I'm not letting myself outline this project. I'm just gonna write it. Every time that I outline things hardcore, they become less exciting for me to work on, and it becomes just like a chore where I sit down and I write versus like the experience that I know it can be for me. So today I'm gonna try and start, and I'm gonna do that by just going and sitting down and writing and seeing what happens. And maybe that means I'm gonna be one of those writers that needs like 700 drafts, you know? But at least I'll hopefully have fun this time. That's the goal, at least. But yeah, I just wanted to check in. Kind of like I can't vlog and write because I get too distracted. So I'm just gonna go write and I'll give you an update afterwards.
You brought out the best in me. We had everything we needed. You put me aside and turn out the lights for no reason. Was it a make-believe? Something you never needed. What was it all for? I don't know you anymore. We go back, we go back, we go back, we colliding. clear, but you lied to me. Now I keep thinking, was I wasting my time letting you into my life? You brought out the best in me. We had everything we needed. You put me aside and turned out the lights for no reason. Was it a make-believe? Something you never needed? What was it all for? I don't know you anymore.
So I think that it is finally time for me to wrap up this video because I realized the other day that the deadline I gave myself of restarting this channel is less than a month away. But I did want to talk a little bit about my writing project because I have written the first chapter of it. I'm gonna tweak the first chapter, but I've written at least a chapter of it. It was such a better experience. I knew going into this that I wanted to change the way that I was writing because plotting everything out was causing me problems. I sat down and I just wrote, and it was so fun. And it reminded me that that is what I enjoy doing. So my goal is to just slowly chip away at it and just keep enjoying the process. And if I don't want to write, then I'm not gonna write. That's a magical idea, right? Like, so original. Who could ever have thought of that? But I tend to get so like schedule based that I turn it into a chore, and I don't want to do that anymore. I feel like this vlog has come to an end, but I am very excited about the direction things are going. I'm trying to take my channel, but also my life in a little bit different of a direction because I feel like for the longest time I had just been stagnating. My dog's freaking out, which means my family's probably home, so I'm gonna go, and I will see you very soon. Thank you for being patient with whatever is happening with my channel. Things will continue getting better. I just need to get back in the swing of actually filming. But I will see you then.